Hey guys, Nish Quick here. Back again with another video, sort of unscripted again. Hopefully I don't ramble on too much this one because it's more of like a story time, so to speak. A little bit more of a personal video this time as well. Nothing too emotional or sad, don't worry. This is very happy memories for me. And I am filming this on September 14th, 2022. Yesterday we got some long-awaited news. 3 years back in 2019, June, we were shown the first trailer for the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Yesterday, we got the title and we got the release date. Breath of the Wild 2 is now finally The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, releasing May 12th, 2023, yeah. But today I don't really want to talk about Tears of the Kingdom just yet. I want to talk about something that explains why I am so excited for Tears of the Kingdom, actually. And that's just a little story of how I got into The Legend of Zelda, and more specifically, what Ocarina of Time means to me. The thing is, everyone has their favorite game of all time. Like, some people say Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid 1, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, even like more modern games, Breath of the Wild, Red Dead Redemption, God of War, so many like amazing industry, genre-defining, revolutionary games. And it may be because of the story, the addicting and enriching gameplay, the amazing world, the narrative, the characters, just the overall experience that means so much to them. For me, Ocarina of Time had all of that. It is, to me, if I had to choose a favorite video game of all time, it is Ocarina of Time, and it had so much that I loved and so much that I appreciated, and I want to talk about that today and just share that experience with you guys. And it's not only that Ocarina of Time is my favorite game, but I think personally, if it wasn't for Ocarina of Time, I wouldn't be the lover of video games and just media in general overall. I wouldn't have that love and appreciation for not only video games, but just fiction, stories, movies, television, even music. A lot of that stems from my appreciation of Ocarina of Time. So, without further ado, let's get started. We'll tell you the whole story, I guess. Not much of a story, but just my past with this game, I guess. Anyways, yeah, and also like, subscribe, ring the notification bell for more. Analysis and reviews are my main thing. Trying to do more story stuff to just like make things a little more personal. We'll see. Yeah, see how this goes. I was very late to the party with Ocarina of Time. I first heard of the Legend of Zelda series with it's embarrassing, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Yeah, I first heard the name Ocarina of Time when I looked at Sheik's trophy, and it said first appearance The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I was like, what is that game? Never heard of it. And then that was like elementary school. I was like 4th grade or something. Then flash forward like 3 years later, 7th grade, I discovered a lot of retro games on just the internet and YouTube. Like, I found out Star Fox 64, I found like Super Mario Bros. 3, I rediscovered Super Mario World, because before like getting exposed to all of these classic Nintendo games, the only thing I really knew back then was Pokemon, Mario, and a little bit of Kirby, so I wasn't the Nintendo fan I am today. And one of those games was Ocarina of Time, and I looked at it and I just was like, this game, like, everyone loves this game online. Like, everyone just talks about how good this game is, perfect, 10 out of 10. And then I look at all the reviews, and it's like still to this day, the highest rated game on Metacritic, perfect scores, 99 average, all that, right? I was like, if I don't play this game, then, like, might as well, like, that was my whole thing back when I was 12 years old. I was like, if I don't play this game, might as well not play video games. So I was like, if I have a chance to play this game, I just need to give it a shot. So one day I asked my mom to borrow her credit card so I can use it to purchase 2,000 Wii points on the Wii Shop channel. Yeah. So with those 2,000 Wii points, I got Ocarina of Time and the first Legend of Zelda game, and then some other game. I think I got Mario Bros. 3 or something. And I just jumped in. That was my first exposure to the Legend of Zelda series. This was around the time of Skyward Sword's hype. So I was like, Skyward Sword looks good. Maybe I should like play some of these older games before Skyward Sword. So I started Ocarina of Time, and at first I was confused. I didn't know what to do. And this was the first ever video game where I had to just sort of think outside of the box for once. I was 12. Like, now any like person my age can play this game and just go through it easily without too much difficulty. Simple things like finding your sword and shield, beating the first dungeon inside the Deku Tree, which I have a video on, by the way, you should check it out, and other things like finding, or just kind of putting two and two together, that you have to give Zelda's letter to that guard outside Kakariko Village to get to Death Mountain. Just kind of connecting the dots. I had never experienced that in a game before. And this is gonna sound very silly, but as a 12-year-old, it made me feel very smart. I was like, I figured out this crazy puzzle where I push this block here and I'm able to take that item from across the room over to this side of the room with the help of that block. It just made me feel a little accomplished, so to speak. And that was nice. Some like dungeon puzzles, when I figured them out for the first time, I was just so happy to like hear that sound, that puzzle sound just gave me such bliss. And whenever I would go into a dungeon, I would I would plan my day according to that dungeon. I was like, I'm gonna spend this amount of time doing this dungeon in Zelda, and I'm gonna spend time just tackling that dungeon. And there were some dungeons where it took me like multiple days. Fire Temple took me 3 to 4 days, if not a week, because of one part in the Fire Temple, like just one part that really tripped me up. Water Temple as well, very, very difficult. It was grueling. Yeah, let me talk about the story now. So, looking back at it, the story is as simple as it gets. Some little kid, some completely random little kid, just goes on an adventure, pulls out the Master Sword, gets transported 7 years into the future, into a dark, corrupted future where the hero loses, and he still has to win. Nowadays, you look at so many like movies, television, video games, all done coming-of-age stories where the hero loses and has to come back. This is my first time experiencing something like that, and I thought that it was a work of art. And now looking back at it now, it's simple, but it still has a lot of emotional gravitas to it. It's a story about maturity, and it's a story about coming to terms with who you are as a person. Because, I don't know, I always thought, like, because I was around young Link's age. You can say he's around 10 years old. I was around his age when playing the game. So I thought to myself, what if I was in this situation? Transported 7 years into the future? I thought it would be pretty cool. Like, you're old enough to use a bow, you're old enough to use the Master Sword. But looking back at it now, you're like, how would a child cope with something like that? Such powerful responsibility. I don't want to go into too much story spoilers, but the fact that you are put in that situation is sort of your fault in a way. It's sort of framed like that in the story. And the fact that Hyrule is the way it is, it's the doing of you. So you have to kind of right the wrongs that you've done. This is, again, first experience with a lot of things. First experience with coming of age narrative in a video game. First experience with time travel in a video game. First experience with just like a lot of these kinds of tropes that we come to like take for granted, I guess. And it was very, very cool to me to see all of this. And I think the biggest thing is, and the biggest takeaway for me when I played that game is, when I played Ocarina of Time, I, like, again, I say it, like, my experience with games was Pokemon, Mario, Sonic, a little bit of Kirby, some of that stuff. I didn't realize that narrative could play such a role in a video game experience at that time. I didn't realize that stories were that important to games. I didn't realize that gameplay and story could go hand in hand and make a very, like, memorable and powerful experience. There's so many really cool, colorful, awesome characters in this game, and it felt like a movie to me back when I was playing it as a little kid. Here's one thing I guess I'll end it with. I always enjoyed music in video games, like, when I played Super Mario World on the GBA for the first time, I was like, oh, nice music, very catchy. Pokemon Gen 4 music will always have a special place in my heart. But Zelda did it very differently. Zelda not only had great music, like just background music, music was a part of the experience. Hold on, let me show you guys something if I still have it somewhere. Hold on. Okay, yeah, sorry about that, but so music is such a big part of this game that like Ocarina of Time, it's in the title. You have an instrument that can kind of affect what happens around you. You can use it to manipulate time. You can use it to make it rain. You can use it to change the time of day. You can use it to call your horse from wherever. I thought that was so cool that music is playing such a big part in this game, and you only had six notes you could play with your controller, and there are so many amazing songs made with just those 6 notes. I thought that was so cool. But this is what I wanted to show you guys, basically. So I love the game so much. I found a Nintendo Power back in the day. I used to subscribe to Nintendo Power. They had ads for, like, ocarinas you can buy, and got my own Ocarina of Time. I still have it here, still intact, still very good condition. I think it still... I forgot kind of how to play it, but if I ever want to learn again and travel through time, I got this right here. Basically, Ocarina of Time made me, like, I always say this, I think I said this one of my first ever videos I made, Ocarina of Time made me a Zelda fan, Skyward Sword made me a long-time Zelda fan, and it'll always be my favorite video game series. Ocarina of Time in particular is a game that had such an impact on me. It made me realize that games, they're more than just pixels moving around on your TV. It can have a profound impact on you with its story, its message, its gameplay. I'll never forget defeating Ganon at the end for the very first time. Probably one of the first, like, action adventure single player games that I beat from beginning to end completion. And when I beat that boss, I was so happy. I remember that moment vividly. Moments like this I'll always cherish, I'll never forget, and it made me the person I am today. A lover of video games, a lover of media, movies, fiction, stories, all of that. Because everyone loves stories, everyone loves a good story. But when it hits the right way, when it makes you feel the most impact, I guess, it's just a little more personal. And Ocarina of Time will always be that for me. A story that I can always relate to, and a game I will always love for what it means to me. And as a Zelda fan, as a Nintendo fan, and as a gamer, I think it still holds up today. It's very, very, very timeless experience. So many things the game doesn't have, but there's so many things that it does have, and it did have back then. I didn't play it when it came out. I was very, very, very young, but the thing is, even playing it as a 12-year-old, like a decade later, it still had that much of an impact on me. And looking into its legacy, it's done so much for the video game industry. It's introduced so many mechanics, concepts. My favorite video game of all time, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Yeah, anyways, thanks for sticking around. If you like this, give it a like, subscribe if you're someone new, and ring the notification bell for more analysis reviews, usability studies, and just casual discussions from me. This is Nishquick signing off. Have a great day. Later.